They gave me a chair. I didn't sit in it. I stood by the viewport instead, looking out at what used to be the Vethrani Compact's administrative hub for the entire Sora corridor, a station they'd built over 60 years. Plated in their pale copper alloy, 8 kilometers from bow to stern, staffed by 11,000 assessors, administrators, and filing clerks. Our breach teams had taken it in 4 hours. It wasn't difficult. The Compact built their station for documentation, not defense. The armor was thin. The airlocks weren't rated for military assault. They hadn't needed them to be, because no one had ever told them no. The chair they gave me was Vethrani-made. Copper alloy frame, their insignia pressed into the back, a set of scales, their symbol for law, for order, for the proper accounting of things. I thought about that. The assessor came in with his hands bound, flanked by 2 of my Marines. He was tall for his species, gray-plated, the ridges along his skull softened with age. He had administered the Sora corridor for 19 years. He had signed the valuation protocol himself. He sat in his own chair, across his own desk, in his own office. Everything else about the situation was different. I opened the registry on the desk display, his registry, pulled from his own servers 2 hours ago. I turned it so he could read it alongside me. Valuation Protocol 79-Sora, I said. Filed by your office, stamped by your seal, distributed to Clearance Drone Authority on the 14th day of the Compact's administrative cycle, 11 months ago. He said nothing. The protocol reclassified 14 human transit corridors and 6 human way station clusters as null-value unoccupied space. Your legal architecture was elegant. Under Vethrani administrative law, null-value unoccupied designations authorize automated remediation, environmental clearance, structure removal, biohazard sterilization. You use the clearance drones your law allows you to use. You filed it all correctly. I turned the display back toward me. Waystation Callaway Reach. Population, 3,411. Filed under your protocol as uninhabited structure. Remediation authorized. Clearance drones entered on the 18th day and completed remediation in 6 hours. I looked at him. 3,411 people, Assessor. They were there. Their life support logs were running. Their meal schedules were logged. Their children were in the waystation school when your drones came through the airlocks. The protocol said they weren't there. I said, I know. I've read it. He tried to find something in my face. I don't know what he was looking for. He didn't find it. I read the next entry. Waystation Hessen 4. Population, 9,002. Filed as null value under the same protocol. Clearance drones completed remediation in 14 hours. Your logs categorized the operation as a full structure clearance, code green. No complications. I paused. 9,002 people, Assessor. The oldest was 87. She ran the waystation's medical archive. Your logs describe her as a biohazard element, category 4, neutralized in the first sweep. He began to speak again. I held up one hand, and he stopped. We went through all 6 waystations. I didn't rush. I read each entry in full. The Compact's own language, the Compact's own filing codes, the Compact's own administrative designations. The total came to 47,209. Each one filed correctly. Each one documented as property remediation. Each one receipted. That was the thing about the Vethrani Compact. They kept excellent records. When the protocol first reached our hands, pulled from a compact administrative relay by one of our intelligence ships 6 weeks after the waystations went dark, the question of intent occupied approximately 4 hours of discussion at the highest levels of our government. Some argued it was error, some argued miscommunication, some cited the Compact's legal framework and suggested the proper response was for arbitration under galactic transit law. Those discussions ended when our forensic teams reached Waystation Callaway Reach. I had not been party to those discussions. By the time they concluded, I was already aboard the Severe Meridian, flagship of the Grave Audit, watching 1,079 other ships take formation around me in the dark off the Compact border. Fleet Admiral is a title. The Grave Audit was not a metaphor. Every Vethrani Compact holding in the Sora corridor belt, every station, every administrative node, every clearance drone depot, every armed relay had been entered into our targeting registry. 112 installations. We intended to account for each one. The Compact sent envoys when we crossed the border. 3 separate delegations in as many days, each one referencing a different clause of a different treaty. Our response was the same each time. A copy of Valuation Protocol 79-SORA, transmitted on the open channel, and silence. We did not fire on the envoy ships. We continued on our heading. They activated their defense grid on the 4th day. It was a capable grid. The compact was a peer state in most technical respects. Their ships were well built, their weapons well calibrated, their commanders competent. I had expected this. The grave audit had been assembled accordingly. We did not send a symbolic force. We sent what the count required. It took 11 days to reach this station. In those 11 days, we accounted for 89 of the 112 installations. Their defense grid fell on day 7. Their fleet elements fell in pieces after that. Not because they fought poorly, but because we were 100 and 800 ships, and we had done the arithmetic before we left. We lost 19 vessels, 412 of our people. I have their names. They are being added to the registry. The compact's remaining fleet elements surrendered on day 10. The assessor's station was the last. He had sent a personal communication that morning, before the breach teams came through his airlocks, addressed to me by rank and name. He asked to discuss the situation. He cited humanitarian protocols. He cited his own age. He cited again his legal framework. He said that if we would agree to arbitration, the compact would consider reparations. I had read the communication, and then set it aside and eaten breakfast, because it was 0600, and I had not eaten since the previous night. Now he was sitting across his own desk from me, and I was finishing the registry. 47,209, I said. Filed, documented, receipted. Every one of them rendered as a clearance operation under your own law. I closed the display. We have accounted for 111 of the 112 installations in the Sora corridor belt. This station is the last. He leaned forward. Something in his posture changed. Some last calculation happening behind his eyes. Admiral, he said, we are prepared to acknowledge, formally, on record, that the protocol produced an outcome that warrants review. We are prepared to enter into. The Grave Audit's targeting registry has 112 entries, I said. This station is entry 112. He stopped. I am reading you the count, I said, because they were counted. That is what this is. Not punishment. Not rage. We are correcting your record. Your protocol filed 47,209 people as vacant space. We are filing them back. I stood. I closed the registry. I picked up the chair, his chair, the one I hadn't sat in, and I set it to one side. Out of my way, he said something else. I don't remember what it was, because I had already turned toward the door. My Marines took custody of the assessor and transferred him to the holding brig aboard the Severe Meridian, per standing orders. He would live. He would be transported to the Galactic Arbitration Body at Kethon Station, along with a complete copy of his own registry, his own protocol, his own receipts, and a full accounting of the Grave Audit's response. Every installation, every compact vessel, every compact administrative record we had collected. We wanted everything on file. The station was evacuated and sealed. We did not destroy it. We left it intact, its servers running, its logs preserved. 11,000 Vethrani administrative staff were transferred to transit holds and processed for repatriation. The compact scales were still pressed into the back of that chair. I thought that was appropriate. They believed in proper accounting. So did we. We had simply brought a larger ledger. 47,209 names. Every one of them filed. Every one of them counted. The Grave Audit had made sure of that. The record is complete.